We're burning the midnight oil as the Chicago Bulls prepare to take on the Los Angeles Clippers in a late game with a 9:30 time Chicago time start time, whatever you want to call it. Can the Bulls finally come out of this rut and stop their 5-game losing streak? Let's hope so, man. We're going to talk about it all and more, but you know what we got to do first.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Haize, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And the Chicago Bulls got a game today. The game's against the Los Angeles Clippers. This is a game in which I'm concerned about this for the Bulls, not just because of the recent 5-game losing streak, but more so because of how every single one of the things that the Clippers do well, it hurts some of the things that the Bulls don't do well. Like, the Clippers on the season are not a great offense by any stretch of the imagination. Despite being 5th in the Western Conference and having a record of 24-17, they're only the 22nd ranked defense per offensive rating on the season. But where the Clippers have excelled at this season is that they're second in the entire league in defensive rating at 108.6. They have a true shooting percentage of 57%, 15th in the NBA. They have a turnover percentage of 16%. They don't turn the ball over at all, really. They're the 8th best rebounding team per rebounding percentage in the NBA. They force turnovers at the 12th best rank in the NBA, and they're second in the NBA at steal percentage. This is a team that if the Bulls do not come into this one prepared, meaning that they got to come ready to play, they're going to get their asses kicked. Period, point blank. The Bulls will get their asses kicked and handed to them if they're not prepared for today. And I don't know about y'all, but I have no faith in this coaching staff to have this team ready and prepared. I just don't. I would love to have more faith in this team. But unfortunately, looking at the reality of the situation, the Bulls have completely and utterly sucked ass. And that does not shape up and look like it's going to change for this team anytime soon. So that's where we find ourselves at, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a tough game for the Chicago Bulls. And you got Kawhi Leonard, who's back, healthy, playing well. The Bulls need to be prepared tonight, because if they're not, they're going to get their asses kicked. And I don't just mean a little bit, a lot of it. A lot of it. So let's hope that the Bulls and the coaching staff is ready today. Let's hope that the team has looked at how they've performed over the last little bit, and they realize they got to get it together. Because if they don't, it's going to be ugly. How many plugs in the dam are going to be needed? You already hear the calls for more fingers, more toes. What? Who's called for fingers? Did you mean to send that to your girl? Did you accidentally type that in the wrong place? She's asking you to plug it all. I'll continue to support you, but truthfully, I'm tired of watching this team. I don't know if I'll be watching them the rest of the season. Why can't the Bulls make changes like the Bears? I mean, listen, the Bears have made a lot of changes, but as of right now, hasn't resulted in wins on the football field yet. Let's hope that this Ben Johnson change actually does get to that. But I'll say this is that the Bulls and their attachment to Billy Donovan could be the thing that continues to sink where this team is at, right? So unfortunately, until the Bulls are ready to make wholesale changes, not only to their roster, but to their coaching staff, we're going to continue to see the team where it's at. That's in my opinion. Haize is currently rehearsing how to go off on the Bulls tonight. Please stay tuned. Nah, it's all passion. It really is. Like there's never been a time where I've thought, "Oh, I'm about to go. I'm about to. Let me get ready to go off." No, there's been times where I'm like, "Hey, no, if this happens, I'm probably gonna go off." But it is what it is, man. I would rather watch Jazz and Pelicans than this bullshit Bulls team. Listen, can't blame you. Can't blame you. The Bears news got us distracted. We forgot or care less about the Bulls tonight until the trade deadline. Oh, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, nothing is happening with the Bulls at the trade deadline. And remember, keep in mind, it's good for business for me if the Bulls are active at the trade deadline. It would behoove the business that I run at Chi-Town Sports Central if I try to push and tell you guys a narrative that the Bulls are going to be more active than what they're actually going to be. But I'm not in the business of pushing narratives. I'm in the business of talking reality. This team is probably not doing shit. Probably not doing shit. It's unfortunate. Bro, if Vooch don't score 30 tonight, I'm done. No Zubac. I mean, you're probably not. Listen, it is what it is. Was Acme really responsible for building something in Denver because he lucked into Jokic, who developed into a superstar? I find this hard to believe now. Well, I think people keep acting like AK was the GM. He was the assistant GM. And the thing that I'm gonna flip on y'all real quick. How much of the credit for anything that AK's done well do you give to Mark Eversley? Now, Mark Eversley is the GM here, but technically, basically, AK operates as the GM. Like, let's not act like AK wasn't the GM. He wasn't the president of basketball operations. He was the assistant general manager. How much credit do you give for what the Bears have done to Ian Cunningham? So I'm just saying. Loving the boo. Thank you. You got to mix it up sometimes. Got to mix it up. Another game to advance the tank over under P Will with 2 rebounds. Listen, if you P Will and rebounding, I don't know at this point what to really say about P Will when it comes to rebounding. He is who he is. This is what it is. He is who he is. I just don't care about this team anymore. Zach and Vooch deserve better. I'm not even excited about this game tonight until I see changes. Then I'll give a damn. And you're not wrong for feeling that way. I want to be clear. There's not a single Bulls fan that's wrong for saying, "Hey, until this team makes some changes or improves or starts winning, I'm out." Like there's nothing wrong with saying that. So, it is what it is, man. Clippers is one of those teams that felt unbeatable past couple of years. I don't think I've ever felt like the Clippers have felt unbeatable. Thank God the national. I almost didn't do a pregame show today because the national championship is basically going to run up until the Bulls game starts, and I just didn't know where that would fall. So I try. If you noticed it, I timed it right around halftime for the national championship game. That was the best place that I could feel like. Usually I go live an hour before the game. I basically started it an hour and 15 minutes before the game to kind of time it with halftime because I think that's just makes sense. I want to watch the national championship as well, even though it's right there. I could see it. So I'm trying to think about some things. Another beating tonight. You know what though? This is the type of game that the Bulls do win. And then it like the Bulls always get confusing wins, right? They get those wins that make us think like, all right, but how do you beat this team, but you didn't beat? Like that's where the Bulls live at right now. So I'm not going to be surprised at all if the Bulls actually win tonight. I'm not going to be surprised, not one iota. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I can't believe the game doesn't start until 9:30. Bulls should play to pay us to watch this garbage. Well, that's in the NBA that's scheduled at this time because this is crazy. They didn't want to. I guess they didn't want to schedule at the same time the national championship was going on, but then at the same time, it's like, is anybody really like what Utah, New Orleans is on right now, right? They're in New Orleans, but then you got just put the damn Bulls game on the same time as the Pelicans game. What up, bro? My whole point yesterday was that knew that Jerry and Michael are hands off. Look at how long Garpax was here, no matter how terrible we've been since the turn of the 2000s. Facts, 100% facts on that one. What's going to be the new word that he come up with this year? Well, so they like their C words, right? Continuity, competitiveness. Congruent. No, I don't know what the C word is. It may not be a C word. If it's okay for your health, I would love an epic rant from you, Cathar. Listen, the thing is, it's all driven off passion. Like I never come into anything and like, oh, bet I'm about to call AK a bitch. Like I don't necessarily come into it with that. But I will say this: like at this point, I don't even know if I even have any more rants on this team left in me. Like this team is who they are, and they are who I thought they were as well. Keep in mind, I picked this team to win between 30 and 35 games. We're on pace right now to win 34. So technically, they're in line with what I thought they were going to be this season. So, like, I mean, I get upset because it really sucks seeing your team lack effort, and I think that's what frustrates me the most. I just hate. I can deal with a team that gives effort and maybe just doesn't have this enough talent to win games. This team gets outworked consistently. Like I would love to see. Like you remember the days where we had the team that was scrappy, and then no matter what, win or lose, we knew that they were going to fight. Like there are a lot of times the leading into the Derrick Rose era, and when I say leading in, I mean when we drafted Kirk and Dang and Ben, right? When we were Tabo, when we were like drafting and developing guys, where the Bulls got their asses kicked, but they competed, and you knew that team left it all out on the court. The thing that's so frustrating about this team now is that they just don't compete. They don't have that competitive. We don't have an identity. What if somebody asked you what Chicago Bulls basketball? Not meaning like, oh well, Chicago Bulls basketball is struggle. We don't. I mean like on the court. If somebody told you what's the on the court identity for this Bulls team, what would you say? The only thing that I can think of is disappointing. Like we just don't have that identity that so long has just been exactly what typifies what this team is, what this franchise, what the city is. That's what it is. This team no longer represents the hardworking, blue collar nature of Chicago, and that's really disappointing. I'd rather watch AC ball out with OKC than the Bulls playing like bullshit. This team sucks ass. I got a DeRozan jersey for Christmas. I know what to tell you, bro. Damn, half the team on the injured list tonight. I mean, listen, the tank is on. I think that, you know what? That's what we really need to take from all of this. The tank is on. That's what's happening. Lonzo's in. Io's out. Coby's out. But hey, that's what some Bulls fan wanted this year, man. So here we are. They need to use Vooch tonight in the paint and continue in the second half. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. Meaning it doesn't matter if Acme or Donovan are terrible. They're always going to have a job. So bringing their failures up are mute points to me personally. I don't disagree with you. Also, AK went from chump with luck to someone clearly incapable of doing the job he was tasked with doing. That sounds like a very Reinsdorfian move. I'm calling it Patrick Williams with 25 points and 15 rebounds. If Patrick Williams gets 25 points and 15 rebounds today, I will do an edible live on air, and y'all better tune in to Locked On Bulls because it's going to be interesting. That's all I can say. Giddy legacy game coming up. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. The West Coast always starts at 7. No, not always. The West Coast usually starts at 9 Eastern is where usual West Coast games are. We played a West Coast game yesterday. What time did it start? So, no, you do have the later games that do start, but generally West Coast game starts around 9. Consistency is the new one I put money. Well, I don't think they can really use consistency because they have changed so much of the roster. Now, it'd be weird to try to push consistency as the new C word when you got rid of DeMar. You got rid of, like, what's consistent about this team? Consistently trash? They're not even that. Like, as much as this team does suck, they're not even consistently trash. They're just not. Like, they're going to have I guarantee you, over this next 3-game stretch, which we're on the West Coast trip, one of these games, at least one, maybe even 2, the Bulls are going to look amazing. I guarantee you. I guarantee it's going to happen. It's really crazy what's going on with Philly and Miami. Didn't expect them to be that bad even without Embiid. Yeah, I mean, listen, Philly's season is one to watch because it's just been injury after injury after injury. Then you had the bright spot early in the season with McCain, who was probably on pace to be Rookie of the Year this year. He's down. His season's over with. I mean, it sucks. And the Philly struggle is really the only reason why the Chicago Bulls are still in the play-in. It just is. The identity of the Bulls is incompetence and inconsistency at 3 levels. Listen, I can't argue with you there. The lack of identity is so telling from the development of P. Will. Just like the team, they have no focus on the game. Remember when Stacey gave players nicknames? That shit? No, it's not. He gave Monas Bucilis little boozy vert. He has that. He gave another nickname this season. Damn it. It didn't stick. It was the THT. I can't remember what he calls THT, but it hasn't really stuck like the other ones. He still gives players nicknames. He doesn't force it. It has to come naturally. I just fired up Tankathon and we jumped to the second pick and drafted Dylan Harper. Would be nice. If that happens, it's all worth it. I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. If the Bulls go through the lottery and end up with one of the top 4 picks, every single thing that we went through this season is all worth it. It's all worth it. But the Bulls haven't been lucky in a long time. So I don't know if I trust that they're going to get lucky now. Hey, I believe the Bulls are the type of team to come off a 5-game losing streak with a 6-game winning streak. 6 games, no. They always they no. If they have a 5-game losing streak, what they'll do is have like a 3-game winning streak and then another 3-game losing streak, then win 2, then lose 1, then go back to losing 5. Like that's what the Bulls do. They're not gonna have a 6-game winning streak. We haven't had a winning streak that long since the 9-game winning streak in 2021. Complacent. That's if they're being real, though, DK. They're not going to be real. They're not going to be real. Too many plans instead of a solid sound plan, concentrating on too many things rather than make it simple. I hate the little boost. I hate it. I hate I hate it with a passion. Literally, Little Boozy Vert is literally the worst nickname Stacey King has ever come up with. And I look, much love and respect to Stacey King. I got Stacey King's number. I could call Stacey King and have a conversation with him at any point in time. That's one of the best connections I've made in doing this. But that's a terrible nickname. That's a objectively terrible nickname. Little Boo, I hate that nickname. I hate the Little Boozy Vert. We need Zion. Come on, bro. Stop getting lost in the sauce, man. We need. Don't nobody need Zion. Come on, man. Haize, I know you don't like it when I compare, but remember how bad the Rockets were up until they got Boston's old head coach. Now look at them. Coaching matters. Nah, that's another bad comparison because that team wasn't that bad even before then. But their young players developed. It wasn't like it was just coaching. They're young. They had young players. They've been instilling. Please shut up, Shay. I just realized you just realized that the Pistons have been ahead of us in the standings all year. Not gonna lie, Haize, is it just me or when the Bulls are losing easy games or losing and Adam is commenting how a player just dunked on our ass and glazed him for a minute just pisses you off like when you no, it doesn't, because he's a commentator. He's just being fair and honest. I don't hate that at all. It doesn't bother me. See, Boozy I could take. Little Boozy Vert is where I hate it. Because A, he's not little. And comparing anything to Uzi Vert and trying to make that a nickname, that's bad. That's just bad to me. No, I hate the name Little Boozy Vert. It's literally terrible. But, it is what it is, man. This team is who they are, and we're going to deal with that this season, and we're going to see where it goes, man. That's the only thing I can say about it. We'll see where it takes us. That's it. This team is so utterly frustrating. Smith is probable, but if he don't play in Sonogo, then P. Will or Mott is playing the small ball. 12-minute Vooch doesn't play. Well, Sonogo's still out, I think, with the knee injury, so I don't think he's going to be stepping in there. Haize, if the Bulls keep their 2025 pick, they will have to get rid of Zach. Zach will take shots away from him. No, they don't. No, they don't. Not at least initially. Again, there's never mind. I'm not going to explain it because y'all just dense, especially Diesel. It's just I don't have the mental capacity today to explain simple stuff. I just don't. Bro, we've been asked for the past decade, bro. We haven't been asked for the past decade. I'm sorry, we deserve a top 3 pick, the basketball guys. Well, just because you get a top 3 pick, we had a top 5 pick, and look at how that went. They got a draft right. They got a draft right. I couldn't deal with my team not being good, but the problem I have is the same, not giving effort and act like they don't give a damn. That's the most disappointing thing about this team is the fact that the lack of effort. It's just like I can deal with a team that competes and they lose because they just don't have enough skill or talent. But the fact that this team does have talent and the effort that they give consistent, the fact that this is a team that is playing in the city of Chicago, and when they get punched in the mouth, they cower like a bunch of bitches. That's the problem I have in this. That's just bad, man. It's bad organizationally. It's bad in every shape, form, and fashion. Modest needs to gain about 13 pounds. Then, no, listen, Modest Bucilis right now weighs more than Brandon Ingram. If I'm not mistaken, he outweighs Brandon Ingram by 15 pounds. Let me double check that. Give me 1 second. Now, I'm not saying that. I don't say that to say that Modest can't afford to put on more weight. He can, and he will. It will happen. I think people think Modest is lighter than what he is. Yeah, he's listed on the NBA, like the background media site, as 204. He came in at the draft combine is 196. I believe Brandon Ingram is still 190, I think. Yeah, 190. Brandon Ingram's 190. Seems like a very nice roster, but the coaching is well off. No, I mean, we got a nice roster as far as nice people, but this roster is missing some severe things. No rim protection. Perimeter defense is at a negative outside of Lonzo and really Dosunmu. Lacking size in certain times and areas. Haize, what do you think about the Bulls drafting Ace Bailey if he's available? Not gonna lie, I think he's gonna be a bust. I don't think Ace is gonna be a bust. But then again, I mean, listen, everything is based off potential. I mean, I'm not gonna say he doesn't have the potential to be, but he's not. I don't think that he will be. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna necessarily turn into a superstar either. Who would win in the fight, Trae Young or Jaylen Brown? Definitely not Trae Young. Trae Young's the type to get punched in the face and run. You would think if the pick was high enough, it would be harder to screw up. Like everyone knows who the top 2 or 3 picks should be. Even AK should get that right. You trust nothing with AK. Trust nothing with AK. I'm not even calling for a major overhaul. If you want to keep one of your bigger pieces, you can just do a complete retool with the rest of the squad. Don't be stagnant and running back everything. See Knicks. There you go. We need Phillips and Modest to get calls from refs more before they can step up to more minutes and be trusted, in my opinion. Hopefully Modest next year gets more. Well, you get more calls by stepping up. You don't you don't all of a sudden get more calls. Like, you got to work to that. You don't wait till you get more calls to play. You play more, then you work through it and you get more calls. It's crazy how back in the day everybody has complained about us not scoring a lot of points, but we fought every single night. That's a fact. That's a fact. If the Bulls keep the pick, it'll be the first time since AK drafted 2 busts in the same draft in P. Will and Marko Simonovic. What do you mean it'll be the first time? First time since what? We just had a draft pick last draft. What are you talking about? I think you missed part of your explanation, part of your comment there. Hey, you good? Oh, I'm good. I'm just tired. Honestly, I'm literally just tired. It's been a long day. A long day. I'm just tired. I'm exhausted, actually. But I'm gonna go make some coffee after this, and I should be good for the rest of the night. Haize, if you had it your way, who's the starting lineup? Coby, Io. Still, you got to start Zach. So Zach, at this point, I'm starting Modest Bucilis and Nikola Vucevic. Just sorry, I forgot a whole half. Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be the first time the Bulls will have 2 picks in the same draft. Okay. Yeah. You're right, because we either had a first round pick or a second round pick. You're absolutely right in that. We'll see. We'll see. Bulls next game. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you, Jeremy. I'm actually looking forward to not having to watch Bulls basketball for a couple of days. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, it's just, especially if the team loses today, yeah, I need those 2 days off from watching Bulls basketball. I'm not even gonna lie or front, because I need a mental break. This team is so frustrating. But all right, y'all. It's 30 minutes in, man. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to take a break, prepare myself mentally for this game tonight. Let's hope that the Chicago Bulls don't completely and utterly get their asses kicked. I'll be back at halftime, be back post-game show. Make sure you guys are following the channel at Bulls Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.